Truth, lies, shenanigans.
All right, so actually, the main topic, the first one is me. I'm up first today. Um, this past Thursday, news broke that Virginia Thomas, wife of Supreme Court Judge Clarence Thomas, was relentlessly texting Trump White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows from November 2020 up until the Capitol insurrection. And she was urging Meadows and others to pursue Trump's baseless election fraud charges. And at one point, she appeared to reference her husband. Now, it's one thing to have a zealous wife that supports ridiculousness, but where it gets shady is Justice Thomas was the one dissenting Supreme Court vote to block investigators from finding out about his wife's role in the insurrection. Because on January 19th of this year, by a vote of 8-1, Clarence Thomas, without providing reason, which is somewhat unusual, voted against allowing congressional investigators from gaining access to messages that former President Donald Trump claimed were still covered by executive privilege, messages which included Virginia Thomas's texts. So, my co-host, my question to you: does this implicate Clarence Thomas as part of the conspiracy, and what should be done about this? Should he be impeached? Let's start with Liz. Sorry.
This is
This is your
proof
boy.
of sedition. This is once again, full of lies and shenanigans. That Neo. Um, this is proof of sedition. This is proof of treason. This is proof of a conspiracy and an effort to overthrow the election and the government. And I think, yes, I think Clarence Thomas should be impeached. I think his wife should be investigated to the fullest extent because think about this, okay? We have the former president's chief of staff, right? Mark Meadows. And I think Neo just broke it down, but I'm just going to break it down like we're kindergartners because a lot of people don't understand the seriousness of this and what would have happened if this had been Democrats. That's a whole other conversation, right? But this was the chief of staff of the former president of the United States having private phone calls with the wife of a Supreme Court justice. And she's encouraging him in his effort to overthrow the election. In some of those text messages to Mark Meadows, she references her best friend, right? She doesn't say his name. She's smart enough not to say his name, but she references him as, or the person that she talked to, as her best friend. And we know that they have referenced each other as that before publicly, right? And it should also be noted that we don't know if this is all of the information, that if Mark Meadows submitted all of the information, there could be other text messages out there that he chose not to submit. This is a complete violation of the Constitution, of what I consider to be patriotism and our democracy. So, yes, off with all of their heads, off with all of their heads.
What do you think, Micah?
I am not a lawyer, but I am married to one. So, by the process of transference, I know everything about law. Look, like all savvy criminals, the fact that Virginia Thomas did not mention Clarence Thomas by name,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they have any legal recourse to do anything. Should he? I think Clarence Thomas is well overdue for retirement. I'm not gonna, wish death on him like some of my friends do. But
Some of my friends have been wishing death all week.
but this doesn't look good, man. It really, really doesn't. And if Clarence Thomas has any has if he wants to save face, if he wants to preserve any type of legacy that he has as a justice, I feel like he needs to at least step down and retire and just say, hey, this part of my life is over. Because people aren't going to let this go.
Yeah.
Nor should they. And it just doesn't look good, Clarence.
Yeah.
Doesn't look good.
Yeah. Real quick, if whoever has the texting going, can we can we mute that? It's really loud. But so Marcus, now
Yes.
you are a attorney, and
hmm
I really, really wanted to get your perspective on this. Um, obviously, do you think he is part of that conspiracy? Um, and do you think he should be impeached? Let me just ask
Well, first off, the texting was coming through on my laptop, so
you.
that I do not know how without actually muting.
I see.
So I apologize for that.
Okay.
Secondly, I'm not a criminal attorney. I'm a civil attorney, but I think to answer the question whether or not he's part of the conspiracy, it's I would say it's probably likely. And then in the civil courts, it's not the standard of proof is not it's different from in criminal law. It could be probably true or probably more true than not. Is more so the standard. But I think this raises a bigger question, or really puts a microscope on where we are as a country, because we elected Donald Trump as president in the first place.
Mm,
So why did he get
preach.
elected? Is it that was Hillary that bad, or are people really that upset and disappointed with Hillary, or hopefully this doesn't extend? They were just that angry or racist because we had just come off having a black president in this
Oh, that's
country,
exactly what
and,
happened.
and they
Well,
I mean that's a real possibility. And for we are just learning so many things on a daily basis. Seems like now with that are coming out about what happened on January 6th. I'm sure there are a lot of players that we see in the news on a daily basis on the Republican side that were more involved in this situation than what has been presented. And I'm sure we're going to learn about some more players that's going to come out. But do I think specifically that Thomas was a behind on this? I'll say this: Dan Rather asked two questions: when did he know, and what did he know, or something
That's right.
along those lines.
Yep.
So I'm sure he knew about it, and I'm sure his reasons for not giving an opinion, as far as him rejecting a dissenting opinion, has to do with why he didn't want. All he wanted to do was make sure, as the article suggested, protect his wife.
Yeah. He had
So
to been.
I
but also,
actually do.
He had
Go
to
ahead.
been trying to protect his wife.
Yeah,
but also
absolutely.
look at how brazen she was, because it's not just these text messages that happened immediately after the election in November. She was
hmm
there on January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She was at the insurrection. Like, she didn't take over the Capitol like
hmm
those other yahoos and terrorists, but she was
She was at the
there
event
on
where he spoke, where
she was
Trump
at
spoke.
the event supporting this nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just go back to the Clintons and Barack Obama a bit, because I said this as soon as Hillary put her name in the hat to run for president. I said
hmm
people always underestimate how much the Republicans or even some Democrats hate the Clintons. I
They didn't.
never thought
hmm
she was going to win.
hmm
Because she's a Clinton,
She ran a
and they
bad
hate both
campaign.
of them.
Let's be real. She ran a horrible campaign.
I don't care what kind of, and so you're going to vote for Donald Trump as the alternative based off of
Well,
a bad
I'm not. I
campaign.
didn't. But I'm just saying she
But
ran a
even
terrible
before,
campaign. She
but even before she started her campaign, the foundation for that hate was there. They never got
hmm
over it from when Clinton
Yep.
was president.
true.
And so
She
I
didn't
never thought
counteract it
she was going to
properly. Yeah.
win. I never thought she.
Let me get this comment.
But
So
yeah, Miss Ginni was in DC on January 6th showing her arse. So yeah, this goes to a large conspiracy, in my opinion.
yeah.
And the fact that he will not recuse himself from
hmm
cases involving January 6th
Yep.
speaks volumes.
Mike Winter points out that he rarely writes coherent opinions, which is true, actually. Um,
hmm
Jacqueline Robinson, Jenny Thomas is unhinged trash, and her self loathing husband is well aware of his wife's activities. It's not enough for him him to recuse from such cases. He needs to get gone now. There's a reason why there's a separation between the three branches of government. Such access to the White House is unheard of. Very true. And Mike Winter points out Grim Reaper stopped by his hospital room just to check on his Bama ass. Wait,
Yeah, and notice how
what?
he conveniently got sick. He conveniently got
Oh,
sick, was in the hospital before the confirmation hearing. So it's a lot. It's a lot there. Do I think they're going to impeach him or anything's
I
going
don't
to
think they
come
will.
in the form of punishment over this? No,
And they're
no.
so good at protecting each other. So good at it. I mean,
That's what criminals
Trump
do.
was that's why they struggled with Trump because Trump was hard to protect because he really didn't care.
Right.
He just figured he could do anything. So, but man, they very very good at protecting. Jacqueline Robinson says her campaign was flawed, but she won the popular vote. It's our antiquated electoral system, college system that caused her loss. I'm gonna just say, I know this is tangential, but I still disagree with that because she should have done some things to make sure that she was able to get some of those electoral votes that she lost, like Wisconsin and a few others.
Right.
You
Who
can't.
should
She
lose?
did run a bad
Michigan.
she did run a bad campaign. She
It
did
was a
run a
bad
bad
campaign.
campaign, but I'm not gonna let the left off the hook either, because there are sometimes folks on the left can be incredibly petulant.
Yes, true. Very true.
When
Bernie
Bernie,
Sanders.
I know people specifically. I've broken bread with. I know that when Bernie did not get the nomination, they were like, "Well,
Mm.
I'm not voting,"
Yes.
and that's
Oh,
ridiculous.
that was
That's
ridiculous.
ridiculous. Look, Hillary
I
wasn't
got
Susan
my
angry with
Hillary
Sarandon.
people.
wasn't my
Susan Sarandon. We talking about you, girl.
like Hillary wasn't my choice, right? But you know
Wasn't mine
what?
either.
Sometimes you gotta hold your nose and check the box for the good of the country. And
Right. That
so
again
yeah,
falls in
it was a number of factors that led to where we are.
that again falls into my question. What does it say about the country where the best alternative for presidency was Donald Trump, and you voted for him? And I don't even think, to my knowledge, that Donald Trump expected to win. I think it was
He
just,
did.
you know, yeah, he was surprised more than anybody that he won. And now here I am, president elect. I have all this power that, to do all these, ridiculous things while I'm in office and have, to impose my will over the next 4 years on America. That's absolutely insane. And to the folks that voted for him, that says a lot about them as well, personally.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, I'm a just challenge. I'm sorry. I know we were talking about Clarence Thomas, but I would just challenge that. I still think that uh, Hillary Clinton should have taken Bernie Sanders, unless Bernie Sanders didn't want it or rejected it. Should have taken him as her vice president candidate. But anyway, I think she made a lot of mistakes. But Jeanette Brown says, "What about the country not being ready for a woman?" Hmm, good point. All
I
right.
mean, maybe.
particularly that woman.
You know, that yeah. I think the country's ready for a woman, but like Liz said, it's that woman in particular. People just really
That
didn't
was a tough
care
one. Yeah.
for.
It was the
Yeah,
Clintons in general. The Clintons were
yeah,
rough.
yeah.
Clintons were rough.
So this is what's going to happen with Clarence Thomas because he did this, when the confirmation hearings were going on regarding Anita Hill back in what was it, 91, 92. He's going to come out if he is, held to account for some of this. He's going to come out and he's going to cry and say it's a public lynching.
Oh
This
God.
is just
I swear to
another
God, if they say
public
that.
lynching.
Oh my God.
That,
Yeah.
that's what
So
he
all right.
goes.
So what do you think
That's his
about?
go.
So
That's his
well,
go.
one more comment. So Latoya Blakely says, of course not. Every photo they took of him, I think she's talking about Trump, that day was of him looking shook. Like, what the hell do I do now that I actually won? All right. So, are we calling this truth,
Truth,
lies,
lies,
or
shenanigans.
shenanigans? This
Uh,
nonsense.
this whole thing is full of lies, man. Like it's full of lies, which lead to more shenanigans.
Which leads to shenanigans and bullshit and
What do
lies
you say,
and
Marcus? Truth, lies, or
all of it.
shenanigans?
I think it's both lies and shenanigans. There's nothing. I mean, there's the truth is in this story itself, but and to the authors of the article, but just lies and shenanigans in the actions of everybody that is involved.
It's
So
nonsense. I say
And
impeach
this is
him,
what
but
happens when people are
I know they won't.
apathetic towards politics. When people do not pay attention to what's going on in their democracy and political system. This is what happens.
All right.